Hello everyone, Moriarty here, and welcome back to Lore Blast, the series where we explore the stories of the various cards in Gwent and, by extension, the Witcher universe. It has been a while since we touched on a topic, but according to Enzo, the series had to be revitalized for a very important reason. One night, in his sleep, the Master Mirror approached him in a dream and instructed him to discover the stories of individuals that he had encountered throughout his time. In return, he will grant Enzo the title of the Master Editor. Naturally, he went to work and presented ideas and the stories behind them. So without further ado, let us begin Lore Blast, Tales of the Master Mirror, with the story of Marlene De Trastamara. Marlene De Trastamara was a beautiful girl who was the heiress of the famous Trastamara estate located in southern Tucson, as the daughter of the baron who owned it. She was someone who loved to throw parties, often inviting those in the Duchy of Tucson to attend and wine and dine with her. During one of these lavish parties, a beggar came knocking on her door with a spoon and bowl, begging her for food. According to Tucson tradition, if a beggar came to an estate asking for food, the owners must offer them food and wine.
I've heard of the custom, an ancient rite of hospitality that obliges one to give food and drink to such a guest lest he depart hungry. To neglect the custom is to bring great misfortune down upon oneself.
Unfortunately, that is not what Marlene did, instead refusing and stating that she would rather leave her leftovers for the dogs. In response, the beggar uttered a curse stating that, "None shall sit and dine with you at your table. No spoon you have shall sate you. Never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror," breaking the spoon afterwards and leaving. In time, the curse grew, and Marlene transformed into a spotted wight, with her grotesque transformation causing her family to leave the cursed estate to Kovir, but not before leaving behind a letter, wishing for her to break the curse and find them in Kovir should she ever set her eyes on that letter, which would imply that her curse had been lifted. Despite them having to leave her due to her curse, they were hopeful that the curse would be lifted and that she would be reunited with her family, with the father going as far as sending an envoy each year to check in on her to check her status, whether or not she has been cured of her curse. While it is not known if this was ever done or what became of them, there is a chance that some of the skeletons found within the cursed estate could be of the envoys that were sent due to her desire to solve the curse by making them dine with her. Unfortunately, it would be decades before someone could help her, with her obsession for the curse growing as she attempted to find a way to lift what had been put upon her by the beggar. She would force people to dine with her, obsessively collect spoons, and spend time in the basement of the estate preparing a wight's brew. After some time, Geralt gets the chance to learn this mysterious curse in the Blood and Wine quest La Cage aux Faux. On his quest to find a rare ingredient for the resonance potion, Regis points him in the direction of the Spotted Wight, aka Marlene, to obtain the ingredient. As Geralt approaches the estate, he immediately notices the curse phrase written all over the walls, thus showing Marlene's obsession with the curse and how to lift it, along with spoons decorating the entire grounds, showing her desire to find a spoon that she does not have, as stated by the curse's wording. When going inside the estate, Geralt sees more of this evidence carved throughout the walls, and even comes across a dining table with 3 skeletons around it. Upon further investigation, it is determined that the wight had attempted to force them to dine with her, to the extent of feeding the skeletons herself and evidently killing them when she found out that her curse had not been lifted, either through her own means or through the toxic qualities of the white brew that she had spent years making. On the far left corner of the dining area, there is a drawer with a decaying letter inside. It is implied through this letter that some time after she was inflicted with the curse, she had enlisted the help of an herbalist to concoct an antidote, but the herbalist had gone missing. She requests to find this herbalist in order to understand where her illness originated from. If it was not from the side effect of the antidote, then she concludes that she was cursed by the beggar and asks to find him. Unfortunately, she did not know much about him, apart from that he specialized in selling mirrors. After finding the cauldron in the lair, Geralt hides and waits for the wight to reveal herself. When she goes to the cauldron, Geralt has 2 options. He can either kill the wight or attempt to lift its curse. If he chooses to fight, then he battles the wight and defeats it, with Marlene perishing in her wight form. If he chooses to lift the curse, then he will attempt to calm the wight down and decipher the curse's wording to break it. He sits down to dine with the wight, instructs it to drink from the bowl directly, as no spoon would be enough to sate her hunger, and upon finishing the brew, the wight looks upon herself in the reflection of the bowl, thus completing the terms of the curse and transforming back to her human form. But we see with Geralt the effects of the white brew, as its toxicity causes a great deal of pain to the Witcher. Despite everything, Geralt manages to lift the curse and takes the human Marlene to Corvo Bianco and to safety. It is his conversation with Barnabas Basil Fawlty that we learn the full extent of the story behind the curse, as Marlene explains to Geralt the origins of the curse during their travel back to the estate. However, it was not mentioned that the beggar who laid the curse on her in the first place was none other than Gaunter O'Dimm himself. Now, there is no evidence that states that he was the one who laid the curse on her directly, but there are many details that support this theory. The first detail is when the curse was placed on Marlene, she states that the beggar broke the spoon after stating the curse and left. We see a similar motion in the O'Fieri ship, when Gaunter O'Dimm breaks the spoon after making a deal with Geralt to help him should he be freed from the ship, triggering the storm and rescuing Geralt from execution. By proxy, the spoons all over the estate are seen as a calling card of sorts for Gaunter O'Dimm. Another piece of evidence that can indicate the involvement of the Master Mirror is the fact that his theme is played during the conversation between Geralt and Barnabas, which is more external evidence, but is there nonetheless. But we can also find evidence within the phrase of the curse itself, as it caters to the most striking qualities of Marlene. None shall sit and dine with you at your table is stemmed from her desire to party with other people in her estate, so this punishment was laid upon her as a result. No spoon you have shall sate you originates from her refusal to feed the beggar, so in turn she would be hungry herself. Never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror is a reflection of her striking beauty, and her transformation to the spotted white seen in the game would cause her to turn away from her now hideous form. It is pointed out by Barnabas that the solution of the curse was simpler than expected, but Geralt knows of the trickery of the curses as they play on irony.
Curses are tricky. They play on irony. Always gotta figure out what the catch is.
Upon completion of the quest, the player has the option to have Marlene stay in the estate, as her many years of being a wight has seen all her family members, including the children, perish long since then. However, she has not lost her love of cooking and can provide Geralt some very delicious meals, making for a rather happy ending for the once heiress of the Trastamara estate. And that ends the story of Marlene De Trastamara, a soul who was subject to the torture placed on her by Gaunter O'Dimm. Why he visited in the first place is uncertain, but it is known that Gaunter O'Dimm thrived in knowing the passions, desires and weaknesses of the flesh and abusing them for his own amusement. According to an article by Eurogamer, where this was stated by the Witcher 3 senior writer Karolina Stakira. It is also stated that he takes great pleasure in testing people, toying with them, looking to expose their hypocrisy and prove that appearances people are trying so desperately to keep are brittle facades that will crack under pressure. His endgame, to show that there are no saints among humans, and no rules a person will not break under the right circumstances. So perhaps his pursuit of amusement led him to the unfortunate fate of Marlene De Trastamara, the one of many whose stories will be told in this series of Lore Blast. And that concludes the Lore Blast on Marlene De Trastamara. What did you think of the story? Did you enjoy the inclusion of her story in the game? Do you agree that Gaunter O'Dimm was the beggar referenced throughout this story? Or perhaps there may be a power far beyond the Master Mirror? We hope you enjoyed the tale of Marlene De Trastamara. If you did, leave a like on the video, and comment suggestions on other characters we can explore the lore of, and subscribe to the channel to see more Witcher and Gwent related content. Other than that, this has been Moriarty, and we will see you next time.
And we're doing another giveaway for a subscription to the Bandit Gang YouTube channel, and the winner is... Oh, exciting! Woo! The winner is... It's you! Woohoo! You just activate that subscription down below. Congrats!